I'm Jeff Maston. I'm a co-director of Bluestem. Bluestem is a conservation cemetery, conservation burial ground, which essentially means that it's a green burial ground that also utilizes the principles of conservation for the practice of managing the land. Even more specifically, there will be a conservation easement placed over the land to ensure that it's perpetually protected from development, from subdivision, from certain activities that would be negative towards the conservation of this land. So the water quality, the air quality, the habitat. And so one of our goals is to protect and bring back one of the most endangered habitats in the southeast part of the US, which is grasslands and early successional habitat. And that's been the cornerstone of, that is what Bluestem is all about. Bluestem is actually a grass. It's a species of grass that is evident in pretty much all of the prairies and grasslands throughout the US. There's different varieties of Bluestem. Here we grow little Bluestem and big Bluestem, but there's other varieties that are out there as well, that some of which are here. But it's that name for us was important because it helped us define kind of the essence of what we're looking at. Most people that come here don't know why it's named that. And so it offers an opportunity to educate from the beginning about how this fits in this space. All of this land, this 87-acre farm, which has been a farm for hundreds of years, was in corn and tobacco and soybeans previously. And we've converted all of the 35 acres of fields that we have into Bluestem heavy prairie or grassland habitat, which includes wildflower. You know, we've planted, I counted the other day, 126 different species of new trees, plants, and shrubs added to the property. And we use each burial as an opportunity to add new species as well. So it's really it's very iterative. It's very it's a learning process. There's no manual on how to do this. We were very intentional in what we did and how we created this, but even then we didn't know that we were. We probably knew 50% of what we know now. And we spent 6 years preparing for this. So there's a lot of learning along the way. But one of the things we talk about is that the fit of conservation and the cemetery, it works so well because it's really about people. Conservation is about the habitat and it's about the plants, but it's also about people, and it's how people interact with those spaces. So whether it's a state park, a national park, it doesn't really matter. There is a connection of people to this space. And so we built this thinking about that, thinking about how people would interact with it and how it will support and interact with people, particularly in that one area with their last great act, where they know that their last act as a human is actually supporting the nutrification of all of the species that are here. And it's kind of a beautiful picture to think about. And it really helps people like make the connection of why this space. But the other thing that really jumped out at us, so Heidi and I both started Bluestem after our parents passed away, and we didn't like the choices that we had at that time. We didn't feel comfortable with the systems and how things worked. Essentially not having any control, being told where to go, what to do, how to act, white tents, astroturf on dirt mounds, all of those things that are kind of conventional in modern burial. That memory sears into your brain. So when you think about going back to that cemetery, that's what you think about. You think about not just the loved one that's buried, but you think about what the conditions were when you were last there. And it's not, to me, it's not what I wanted. And it's, so here, when there's a funeral, you have butterflies flying through, you have birds landing sometimes on the casket, you have music being sung in the open air. You have all of these experiences, and birds, definitely singing behind you. These experiences occur, that's your memory. And so you can come back to this place, and it doesn't even, we often think about burials based on a particular location of where my loved one is buried. At Bluestem, really the whole place is the memorial. This 87 acres, it's all the memorial for that one and every individual. And so it's a freedom for us to think that way. And thus we can bring our simple way of thinking to others and let them celebrate the service in the way that they would like it. Whether it be a religious, a non-religious, music, readings, or silence. We had a beautiful service yesterday that ended up having about 5 minutes of just pure silence. And the birds were singing, and it was stunning. Stunning.